What's up, world? This is TAMEKA Jackson, and we are in New York City with Mr. Brian Mcknight. Brian, could you tell me, being from Buffalo, what it was like growing up in Buffalo?
The fun thing about that is I was there till I was about 11. We moved to Florida, but the earliest memories I have are of our church. I went to Emmanuel Temple, Seventh-day Adventist Church. It's right, I think it's on Fillmore, I believe, downtown.
Okay.
And my grandfather was a minister of music. All of my family members were in the choir. I sat next to my mother in the alto section and had my aunts in the front row, my uncles and my great uncle in the back. And we lived in the suburbs. We lived out in North Tonawanda. My brothers went to Sweet Home. I went to Willow
Did you
Ridge.
go to...
Well, I went to Willow Ridge Elementary School. Again, I was young.
Okay.
And just coming in and out of there, the winters were pretty amazing.
I mean, how could you not talk about a winter in Buffalo with all that snow?
And being that close to Canada, running always over to Toronto and coming back and forth, and Buffalo Wings. My dad played a lot of softball and going to all the softball games, and I got my foundation of music in Buffalo, and that's kind of where it still is now. They just had a big church reunion with all the people. My mother went. I didn't go back. My mother went. She told me how great it was.
Okay.
And when I mean, I've lived a lot of different places, but I am from Buffalo, and that's what I tell people.
Are there other things that people just don't know about you? What would we just say, hey, what don't we know?
That I'm not necessarily what people would think. You listen to the music, you're thinking, oh, this is Mr. Romance, Mr. this, Mr. that.
Mr. Roses and Candles.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm a guy. I'm a regular guy. I can go there. Now, I think that women want a guy that can go there, but I think a woman appreciates a regular guy, a guy who watches ESPN all day long.
That's what I'm talking about.
A guy who, loves to play sports and be active and has his homies that he hangs with, and, he can split the time between all that and then do what he needs to do for her. I don't think that, women talk about a sensitive man. I really don't think you want that guy all the time. You want the guy that's going to pull your hair. You want the guy that's going to do all those other things.
Oh, let's get into it now, people.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying. But again, the music, you have to take it as moments in time. Because when I write, I'm writing about that specific moment in my life.
Okay.
The rest of the time I'm playing golf or playing ball or,
so you're playing. So do you have jumping out of airplanes? Okay, take me with you next time you jump out the plane.
You're not ready for all that.
So speaking of you playing ball, what do you play? What's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport was actually football.
Football?
I was a much better high school football player than basketball player, but I have played professional basketball all over the world. I played in China in 2000. I played in Mexico in 2001. In LA, where I live now, I play professional basketball from April to about August every year. Next year will be my last year. I'm going to retire because I plan to play on a nationwide tour.
Wow.
Playing golf in the next year and a half or so.
Do you have a favorite football player?
Not a player. I have my favorite team. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Okay.
I know people in Buffalo will be mad at that, but in '77 I played for the what was our little league team called? The Parkview Cadets out in North Tonawanda, and I was running back. My favorite running back at the time was Tony Dorsett. He went to Pitt.
Okay.
He got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, and immediately I became a Dallas Cowboy fan. But up until then, I was a Buffalo Bills fan because of the juice and OJ. And you're probably too young to know all about all of that. But
no, I know OJ is.
It's been many a winter day out in Orchard Park. So,
what things are upcoming for you? I know that you're going to be Billy Flynn in Chicago.
Yeah, this tour is coming to a close here another couple of weeks. We have about 7 or 8 more shows to go. Then I go into full swing rehearsal to play Billy Flynn on Broadway. It's funny, it's kind of like proposing marriage. You propose to someone and you set the date so far ahead and you think it's never going to come well.
Now
I did this deal a year ago thinking that the date would never come, and now it's here. Now, there's a lot of work that's going to go into that. Broadway's a big deal. I mean, I've done plays, I've acted doing some different things, but Broadway is a big deal. And, my mother and her siblings, they always dreamt of being on Broadway. And at a time when, a lot of black folks didn't get to be on Broadway. And there was no way I could have said no to that just for them.
In preparing to be Billy Flynn, are you nervous, or are you, how do you feel about that?
Do I appear to be the kind of person that gets nervous about anything? I'm always just like this. I make the change just about the time when I'm about to make my entrance on the stage, because I really look at my two personalities as two different people. The minute I go on stage, I become that guy. When I come off, I go right back to being, Mr. Cool Chill Mode. Mr. Cool Chill Mode, man. But when the time comes, I plan to be prepared enough to where there won't be those butterflies and the nervousness. I think that people, when they're in an audience, can tell when you're not sure of yourself. And sometimes it gets you in trouble because people think that you have an air, an arrogance about you. It's not that. I want to be confident. I want people to see that confidence, so that they can believe that I believe in what I'm doing. If I believe in it, then they'll believe in it.
Right, right. That makes sense. So, how is it that now you're on tour? You said the tour is coming to an end. So, how do you feel that about your performance with your two sons? That has to have been a highlight of the tour.
It's been the highlight of, that's what makes this tour so much better than every other one. They've come out and done songs here and there, in the last few years, last few tours, but this time for them to be in every show and highlighting their talents and being able to do their own thing without me even being on stage, and that they can sustain that audience. Because people tend to only lean towards things that they're familiar with. And these two guys don't have a record out yet. They don't, they're my sons, and there may be a bit of gratuitous, okay, Mcknight boys, yeah, but they really go out there and they get as big or a bigger response than I do, and it just makes you very, very proud. And the blood hasn't gone thin with me. So
it's good to be able to keep it up and keep it in the family, keep it moving forward. So speaking of moving forward, I know that you have some plans for Las Vegas.
Who told
What's
you that?
going on in Las Vegas? A little birdie.
Little birdie told you that. We have a lot of things going on. A reality show with the kids, a nighttime talk show that would be from Vegas, or maybe
Mcknight at Night?
Yeah, something like a tentative name. I'm not sure if I love that name just now. I mean, I'm Brian Mcknight, and it'll be at night, so I guess you can put those things together. So, we'll just see. We have a vision for what we want to do. And we probably could have done it already if somebody else took that vision and skewed it to what they wanted it to be. So we're taking our time, and we have our own production. We have everything together. Now it's just about getting somebody to believe that it's possible. So I worked at Extra. I've corresponded in lots of different arenas. I've done your kind of job that you're doing.
Okay.
I'm actually quite good at it. And
that's great, because I can learn,
I'm just kidding,
I can always get
but I'm
tips.
serious. But anyway, yeah, so we have, there's a lot of different things, and new different
radio
kinds of records.
show?
I have I have a radio show. I host the smooth jazz radio station, 94.7 The Wave in LA. You can catch me. I'm streaming at 947thewave.com. Check that out.
Buffalo, tune into LA.
See all new Brian Mcknight morning show with Pat Prescott. I have a co-host, and all these things are leading up to the bigger picture, to be a complete multimedia artist.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Retired.
Retired.
Yeah. What I said to my manager, Silas, I said, let's work real hard nonstop for the next 3 years, and then I'm just going to play golf from then on out. So that's what we're going to do.
So that's the future.
That's the future.
The future is retirement. Okay,
Now, I come out and do a couple shows here and there. People still want to hear what I'm doing.
Of course the people will want to hear what you have to do.
It's either that, or I'll do like one of these corny reality shows with all the people who are Where Are They Nows. I'll do one of those.
Whatever happened
whatever happened to him.
That guy who won all those Grammys, What advice do you have for upcoming artists?
That's a tough question these days. 10 years ago, the answer would have been different. I always ask the same question to people that come to me saying, oh, I got a demo. And I was like, well, what do you want to be? You want to be famous? Or do you want to have a career at this? Career takes a lot of hard work. Career takes a lot of ups and downs. When I started in this business, I was so happy to have one record. I didn't think past that. I had to make that one as good as I could, and I took that same philosophy for everyone after that. And now I have 11. So it just really depends. I mean, you can get in this business.
Even to changing a label, moving over to a different
labels. But it's relatively easy to become famous these days. But it's even easier to be forgotten by next summer. So you really have to figure out what it is you want to do. If you want a career at this, you need to practice. You need to practice and figure out who you are and stick to that. And become the first you and not the next somebody else.
Well, there you have it. Everybody tune in to Chicago and New York City on Broadway, where we have just the biggest character here, Mr. Brian Mcknight. I want to say thank you for coming out. Thank you for allowing me.
You get close to me now, huh? You like that.
See, now you have me blushing. Okay, but you just tuned in to...
I've never seen that. I'm sorry.
Just like Wayne Brady.
Yeah.